How does it feel to be a woman?
It's a big question. It feels good. I feel good about being a woman. I feel good about like showing up, trying to show up every day as like a strong woman. I think I take pride in that, and right. But I think largely that pride comes from this, sense that being a woman, you have to work harder in the world, and there's systems and institutions set up against you, and so sort of this kind of like pride in the daily fight to like own your worth and your presence in the world. But I feel pretty good about my my womanness.
How are the roles of women now different from the role of women from the past?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my mom was one of the first like 10 female engineers to graduate from her college program. In the past, women didn't have, were stay-at-home moms, and they provided for the family by cooking and cleaning, and that was a very gendered role. Men went to work and made the money, and that's certainly shifted to the point where growing up I always received messages from my parents that I could do what I wanted, and that I didn't have to kind of siphon myself into specific realms just because of my gender. And I think that my mom, being kind of a strong pioneer woman herself, played a big role in my perception of what I can do. And so I do think that things are certainly changing.
In the past, women was mostly housewives and the man was working, but now today, women have made great strides for the fight for equality, including women's suffrage, enrolled in equal opportunity, and in the workforce and education. Even though the law says that women have the same pay as men, regardless of race, color, or religion, there is still a wage gap between women and men.
These are intersectional, and so when being a white woman is certainly a different experience than being a woman of color, and being a white woman, I certainly have advantages, and my base level of pay is going to be higher than women of color, for sure. So that, when we talk about feminism and we have, women's rights marches, I firmly believe that kind of intersectional feminism needs to be at the core of those messages, and that we need to include all women and their experiences in the conversation around feminism.
The gender gap in pay has narrowed since 1980, particularly among younger workers, but still is around. In 2015, women earned 83% of what men earn, according to the Pew Research Center of median hourly earn of both full and part-time U.S. workers. Based on this estimate, it would take an extra 44 days of work for women to earn what men did in 2015. For the adults of age 25 through 34, the gaps get smaller compared to the age of 16 and older.
The current rate of sexual violence towards women.
Yeah. I guess last time I heard that stat, it was something like 1 in 4 women on a college campus will be either like raped or sexually harassed. And being a woman who just graduated from college, I certainly know people who have had that experience. It's frankly like scary and disgusting. right? To think that you can't just go about your daily life and know that you'll be safe as a woman. I think that campuses are, I think it's becoming more of like a cultural consciousness thing where like people are slowly recognizing the issue, talking about it more. Campuses are starting to feel more and more pressure to address the issue. At the U of M, which is where I went, there's things like the Aurora Center, which support victims of sexual assault or violence. I mean, just this morning, I was walking down the street and was catcalled. Some guy in his car rolled down his window and shouted obscene things at me, and like that's not something that I'd like to happen to me every day, and that's not something that is the everyday experience of a man. So in that regard, yeah. And then also I think just like because of the way that I've been socialized as a woman, I think that I show up more like apologetically, and I think in terms of like my career, I'm a soccer coach, and the sport world is predominantly kind of a boys' club, and so I've been reflecting lately that I think that I struggle to advocate for my salary. I think that I struggle to advocate for what I want in my job. Largely my bosses have been men, and I think that I have a difficult time advocating for myself professionally, and that's something that I'd like to work on, right? But that is something that I need to work on, and a challenge that I run into because I'm a woman and I've been socialized in certain ways, and because institutions are set up in certain ways. I think that I've been largely very fortunate, right, as a white upper middle class woman, and so I've certainly have many advantages. Like we mentioned, women of color see struggles that I don't, but I do think that I've run into some obstacles because of my gender.